Did they really think they could shatter your spirit without facing the force of karmic justice? And now that they're feeling the weight of your resilience, can you see how unstoppable your destiny truly is? You know what it's like to carry the weight of a purpose that defies easy comprehension, a force within you that others cannot hope to match. Fear and envy stir in those who cannot understand, their reactions bound not by logic, but by a deep-seated resentment for the strength you possess. For chosen ones, this is the twisted legacy left by those who observe from the sidelines: manipulation, interference, and attempts to pull apart the threads of what is meant to be yours alone. They use their power, influence, or words to dig deep into your psyche, hoping to plant seeds of doubt or discord. They twist perceptions, distort truths, and create storms where none should exist, hoping to break your spirit or make you question the authenticity of your own path. This third party is not a random face in the crowd. They are a figure who lurks just out of sight, feeding off shadows and exploiting the smallest cracks they perceive in you. Their interference is meticulous, a web of distraction and division designed to fracture your strength and isolate you from your true path. Driven by jealousy, their actions are not born out of love or even logic, but out of a compulsion to exert control over something they cannot possess. They crave a closeness to what you have, but lack the courage or authenticity to claim it in their own right. Instead, they work to destabilize you, hoping to see you falter, mistaking your determination for a vulnerability they can exploit. You may sense their presence like an unseen force, whispering subtle negativity, casting doubt on the choices you know are right. They aim to sow unease, playing on fears, amplifying anxieties. Their goal is simple: keep you from reaching the heights that only you can ascend, not by physical chains, but by imprisoning you within a maze of self-doubt and distrust. For they know deep down that the only way to limit a chosen one's power is through internal conflict, through coercing you to limit yourself. They see your potential, the unique essence within you that disrupts their carefully cultivated illusions of control, and they seek to corrode it from within. This interference doesn't happen in broad daylight. Instead, it is a subtle, insidious presence, working behind the scenes, hoping you'll never notice their hand in the turmoil. They observe, waiting for moments of vulnerability, and then they strike with whispers, half-truths, and divisive tactics. Their fear of your ascension, of the possibility that you will rise beyond reach, drives them to ever more elaborate schemes. The irony lies in their blindness. They cannot see that their manipulations only sharpen your resilience, forging an unbreakable will to counter their influence. And so, as they try to pull you away from your path, they unwittingly strengthen it. They try to plant seeds of doubt, but in doing so, they cultivate within you a clarity that cuts through illusions. Each attempt to hold you back becomes fuel. Each word of discouragement only heightens your resolve. They fail to recognize that chosen ones do not bend to coercion. They are refined by it, their purpose honed in the face of opposition. Their interference may disturb you for a moment, but it will never alter the truth that beats within you, louder than any whisper, more enduring than any shadow. You are not like others, and this truth pulses through every challenge, every trial meant to forge rather than break you. There is an intensity in the opposition you face, a relentless force pushing against your path. You are a chosen one, and this alone evokes reactions from forces beyond the visible realm. Those forces, whether they realize it or not, are drawn to the power that radiates within you, to the very core of your spirit's essence. They sense the unyielding strength that can shatter their carefully held illusions, a brilliance they cannot emulate or extinguish. So they strike, hoping to silence you before you rise, unaware that with each attempt to bind you, they only forge your spirit into something even more indomitable. There is a divine shield around you, woven through the fabric of your being, a protection that stands like an ancient wall against each strike they send. These attacks come, yes, but they do not reach the heart of who you are. Divine forces surround you, knowing well the depth and sacredness of your purpose, positioning themselves to absorb the blows and transmute them into wisdom and strength. This protection does not mean a life without trials. It means that every trial has a purpose, a way of revealing the infinite resilience within you. While these malicious forces attempt to wear down your spirit, they find instead a radiance that grows stronger with each storm. Their opposition is a futile spectacle. They push harder, hoping to find weakness, but their attacks only clarify your alignment with something greater. Every attempt to disrupt your path is met by divine guardianship, forces that intervene in ways often unseen, yet unmistakably felt. They cannot understand why their efforts fail, why each setback becomes another step forward for you. It is because you are not walking this path alone. There is a sacred alignment between you and the divine, a resonance that shields you and transforms every struggle into strength, every attack into another layer of resilience. Where they intend chaos, there is only clarity. Where they intend fear, there is only faith. The chosen ones are not meant to live without adversity. Rather, adversity refines them, proving the magnitude of their purpose. These trials, as painful as they may feel, are part of the divine equation that strengthens you from within, molding you into a force that cannot be dismantled by mere malice. Each challenge is an initiation, revealing to you the immensity of your own spirit. These forces that seek to destabilize you are blind to the truth, that every challenge you face aligns you closer to the sacred, intertwining your journey with divine will and guiding you with a wisdom they cannot grasp. In every trial, there is a purpose. In every opposition, a chance to deepen your understanding of the divine support that surrounds you. You are fortified by more than mere faith. You are held by forces as old as time, forces that shield and guide you, allowing no malice to touch the heart of your purpose. The adversaries cannot see the immensity of what protects you. They strike blindly, unknowingly, forging the very path they sought to destroy, strengthening the very soul they intended to weaken. And as they falter, you rise, unscathed and aligned, carrying forward the purpose they cannot hope to touch. You stand as a beacon, a chosen one, radiating a purpose others can neither fully grasp nor replicate. Yet this very strength provokes reactions in those who are consumed by fear, jealousy, and a gnawing insecurity. They see in you a brilliance that terrifies them because it mirrors all that they feel they lack. Their motivations are rooted in desperation, a fear of being left behind, of facing their own inadequacies, of losing the false security they cling to. Financial anxieties, envy, and a hunger for control fester within them, driving them to try to fracture the stability you have worked so tirelessly to build. They don't seek to understand or support. Instead, they plot to undermine, weaving manipulation into the very fabric of your life to destabilize you. These forces, often embodied by a third party or external figure, are calculating and intentional. They may hover around your relationships, chipping away subtly, stirring doubts and feeding insecurities where none existed before. This third party watches with keen eyes, looking for any opening to exploit, any moment of vulnerability that might serve their agenda. Their aim is to make you doubt yourself, to make you question your own worth and significance. They rely on manipulation because they lack the authenticity and courage to stand in their own light, opting instead to feed off yours. Out of envy and a competitive drive, they twist reality, bending perceptions to cast shadows on your accomplishments, on your relationships, on everything you hold dear. The core of their actions lies in the fear of loss of control of resources of relevance. Financial insecurity festers within them like a wound they cannot heal, making them hypervigilant, always on the lookout for a target to project their insecurities onto. To them, your stability is a threat, a reminder of their own perceived shortcomings. Rather than facing this internal emptiness, they try to fill it by unraveling what you've built. They cannot stand the thought of you thriving where they struggle, so they attempt to sow discord, hoping to watch your world crumble to soothe their own insecurities. They may try to isolate you, to cut you off from the support and relationships that strengthen you, fueling suspicions, whispering falsehoods, all in the hope that you'll believe in their carefully constructed illusion rather than your own intuition. Jealousy is their driving force, a corrosive energy that blinds them to reason. They see in you what they long to possess but cannot attain. Your peace, your resilience, the love you inspire. These qualities elude them, so they grasp at shadows, hoping that by dragging you down they might feel less small. But they misjudge your strength. You are not easily swayed by the currents of manipulation or deceit. Though they press against you, attempting to shake the ground beneath your feet, you remain steadfast, rooted in a truth they cannot reach. Their envy becomes their downfall, for each act of manipulation reveals only their own fear and inadequacy, illuminating the vast divide between their pettiness and your purpose. Their attempts to undermine you are futile gestures from a place of deep insecurity. The chosen are never left unprotected, and every falsehood, every attempt to disrupt your life, is met with resilience that transforms their negativity into a deeper resolve. If you're ready to connect with a community that understands your journey and mirrors your strength, check out Obsidian Inner Order, powered by Astral Atom. As they deplete themselves in their desperate efforts to interfere, you'll find yourself standing firmer than ever, alongside those who resonate with your power. The link is in the description below. You are a force they cannot control, a presence they cannot fully grasp, but their envy is relentless, pushing them to extraordinary lengths to disrupt your path. They do not rely on chance or passive resentment. Instead, they weave their malice into calculated plans, deploying a vast arsenal of manipulation techniques to target you directly. These tactics are not haphazard or momentary. They are deliberate, refined methods of deceit, laced with financial motives and dark intentions. They pay others to interfere, to infiltrate your life under false pretenses, layering deception upon deception to create illusions that tug at the edges of your reality. They want you to question your own perceptions, to lose trust in the instincts that have always guided you. The paid interference is designed to create an environment of constant tension, feeding small doubts and distractions, a steady drip of toxicity meant to destabilize your foundation. People who are bought, their loyalty shallow, enter your world, feigning interest, support, or kinship. They have no real connection to you. They are shadows with hidden motives, scripted actors following orders given by those who envy your strength. Every move, every word, every interaction is part of an elaborate scheme aimed at wearing down your defenses, at sowing chaos where there was once calm. Their subtle deceit is meant to take root in your mind, hoping you will internalize the seeds of doubt they plant and begin to question the truth of your own power. But they do not stop at infiltration. They invest in dark practices, seeking to manipulate energies, to cloud the clear vision that has always illuminated your path. They know they cannot confront you directly, they cannot break your spirit through open conflict, so they turn to shadows, employing tactics that corrupt and distort. They reach for techniques meant to twist reality, hoping to ensnare you in a maze of illusion, a place where everything you see or feel seems disjointed, off balance. These dark practices, these attempts at energy manipulation, reveal their desperation, their fear of the light you carry. They want to obscure your path, make you feel isolated and unsupported, hoping to drive you into a place where you'll question your own resilience. Their motives are steeped in financial desperation and personal inadequacy. They see your stability, your inherent abundance, and it burns them with envy. They crave the security you possess, the peace that radiates from within you, but they lack the ability or the will to cultivate it themselves. Instead, they set their sights on you, hoping to dismantle what they cannot replicate. Money changes hands, favors are called in, and manipulative tactics are refined, all to siphon from you what they cannot create for themselves. They fuel their schemes with every resource they can muster, each step revealing the hollowness of their own existence. The irony is that, while they reach into darkness to take from you, their actions only expose their dependence on you as a source of validation, as if breaking you would somehow restore them. But you are not swayed by their illusion, nor are you moved by their manipulations. Their web of deceit might obscure the view for a moment, but it cannot eclipse the brilliance within you. Every tactic they employ, every dark practice, every paid intrusion is an act that strengthens your resolve, a futile attempt to alter a destiny they have no control over. They do not realize that chosen ones are guided by forces far beyond manipulation or financial schemes. Their efforts to dismantle you reveal only their own fragility, their need to siphon strength from others because they lack the courage to find it within themselves. So they remain entangled in their own web, bound by the very manipulation they sought to inflict on you. Their desperation to steal what is yours only magnifies the undeniable truth. They are empty without the light they try to tarnish. Now, as the shadows retreat, every lie, every calculated interference stands exposed, naked before the light of truth. The ones who conspired against you are left vulnerable, their schemes unraveled, their intentions revealed in the harsh glare of karmic justice. They tried to wield control over your path, but they failed to understand that their actions would only return to them, magnified, intensified by the force they attempted to wield against you. Each step they took, every calculated deceit, is now a stone added to the weight that hangs over them. Their fear is palpable now. The facades they wore are stripped away, and they stand powerless, unable to shield themselves from the consequences of their actions. Every action they took to destabilize you has ricocheted, returning like a wave breaking over them, carrying the full force of their intentions back to its source. They are haunted by the truths they thought they could bury, revelations that pierce through their illusions and hold them accountable. The manipulation they so carefully crafted has become a cage, each lie another bar locking them in, each betrayal a link in the chain that binds them. They are beginning to realize that there is no escape from the justice they set in motion. The laws of cause and effect of karmic retribution demand balance, and now they feel it closing in. They are the architects of their own ruin, their efforts to control and distort spiraling into a fate they cannot avoid. They watch helplessly as the very forces they tried to wield against you turn back upon them, exposing every twisted intention, every word spoken in malice, every shadow cast to dim your light. What they once wielded as power now slips through their fingers, leaving them vulnerable, exposed to the gaze of the very truth they sought to silence. Each revelation lands like a thunderbolt, illuminating the cracks in their facade, the insecurity and fear that drove them to act against you. They are held in a light they cannot evade, a clarity they cannot escape. Their plans backfire with such intensity that they can no longer hide behind manipulation or illusion. The world around them sees them for what they are, and they find themselves caught in the spotlight of accountability, forced to face the truth of their own motivations. The karmic tide they once directed toward you now surges over them, and they find themselves powerless to fight the current they set in motion. They thought themselves untouchable, cloaked in the authority they wielded to distort reality and direct others against you. But now, as truth rises like an unstoppable wave, these additional figures, every hidden hand, every authority who lent their influence to dark schemes, find themselves ensnared by the very webs they helped spin. They aligned with manipulation, acted as silent accomplices in the shadows, and convinced themselves that they could move unseen, their power securing them immunity from consequence. Yet with every revelation, their world crumbles as their masked intentions unravel before the light of truth. This authority figure, who lent their weight to the manipulations against you, did so believing they could remain unscathed, that their title or reputation would shield them from scrutiny. But their role in these machinations has been laid bare, and now they face a reckoning they cannot evade. Their alliance with dark forces, their willingness to corrupt their own position, now stands exposed like a fortress laid to ruin, each brick removed by their own hand. They feigned neutrality, wearing the mask of wisdom or guidance, but their betrayal is now in full view, and they feel the weight of accountability pressing upon them, more crushing with each revelation. The illusion of invulnerability has shattered, and they are left with the inescapable truth of their own betrayal. As the walls around them collapse, panic spreads among these corrupt figures who once thought they controlled every element of this manipulation. Their calculated moves, each hidden deed, are laid out in harsh detail, every act of collusion like a scar on their reputation that they cannot erase. The lies they whispered, the secrets they shared, and the power they misused have returned to haunt them. They realize that they are no longer hidden behind veils of influence. The truths they buried now surge to the surface, stark and undeniable. There is no escape from this. Each attempt to claw their way free from exposure only further reveals their desperation, their inability to face the very darkness they helped create. These are not merely individuals acting in isolation. They are a network of collusion, each figure feeding off the other, lending strength to the manipulations designed to fracture your path. They were driven by envy, by greed, by a hunger for control that would never satisfy them. They believed they could consume the light that emanated from you, that by dismantling your strength, they could somehow build their own. Now, however, as the pieces of their collusion fall apart, they stand alone, watching as every connection they once counted on disintegrates under the weight of exposed truth. Each corrupted ally turns from them, too afraid of their own consequences to offer solidarity. They conspired against you, layering deceit upon deceit, believing that their schemes would remain hidden forever. But now the karmic scales swing into perfect balance, and the darkness they cast over your path has returned to them in full force. Each of their plots, meticulously planned and executed with precision, has crumbled. Those who once operated with impunity now face the full weight of justice, an unstoppable reckoning that holds them to account for every shadow they cast. Their arrogance blindsided them, making them believe they could harm a chosen one without consequence. But consequence has found them, and it is unrelenting. Their actions have led them here, to the very brink of their own ruin, and there is no turning back. The cult that orchestrated the attacks, the web of collaborators who fed it, and the hidden hands that funded it, all of them are now trapped within the cage they built for you. Justice doesn't merely brush against them, it engulfs them, closing in as every alliance they once counted on fractures, leaving each figure to stand alone in their accountability. The deceptive foundation they stood on collapses beneath them, and the truth they tried to bury has risen with a power they can no longer contain. Some now face prison walls, stripped of the freedom they so casually threatened to steal from you. Those who thought themselves above consequence find their lives restricted, each bar of the prison a reminder of the choices they made, the paths they chose. Their attempts to destabilize you, to shatter your peace, have rebounded, solidifying their own undoing. And they are haunted by this fate, tormented by the awareness that it was their own hands that guided them here. Each of them, from the orchestrators to the silent accomplices, must now confront the brutal reality of karmic justice. The consequences reach beyond the confines of law. They extend into the very fabric of each life involved. Those who willingly aligned with darkness, who sacrificed their integrity for a fleeting sense of power, now find themselves shunned, left to dwell in the solitude of their choices. Their names, once spoken with authority, are now tainted with betrayal, with dishonor. The reputation they sought to protect is forever scarred by their involvement, and they are left with the echo of their own deeds. Relationships crumble, alliances dissolve, and each figure is cast into a realm of isolation that mirrors the emptiness of their intentions. You are protected in ways beyond comprehension, shielded by a force that sees the truth within you and guards you fiercely. The trials you faced, the schemes woven to pull you from your path have dissolved, and as this chapter closes, peace stands waiting. Your resilience has carved out this sanctuary, a haven where only authenticity is welcome, where only those who walk with integrity may enter. You are free from the shadows of betrayal, held by a power that understands the immensity of your purpose. This protection is not fleeting. It is the constant pulse of a divine order that shields those who are chosen. Now there is space for clarity, a clearing where true peace settles, unburdened by the weight of others' intentions. Embrace this awareness with unwavering confidence. Move forward, knowing that each experience has served to refine you, sharpening your vision, aligning you with those who resonate with your highest truth. Here, you no longer need to question who belongs on your path. The path has already become a filter, allowing only those who reflect your true light to draw near. Open yourself to relationships that honor your purpose, that nourish your spirit, where reciprocity replaces manipulation and trust stands unshaken. This is your moment to reclaim your power, and with it, a life aligned solely with those who understand the depths of authenticity and respect the journey you walk. You are free to step fully into this new phase, one built not on illusions, but on the enduring strength you carry. Let the past fade into memory as you embrace what is ahead. You are the chosen, held by forces that will see you through every shadow and into every light. Share your story. Let your voice reach those who may still feel silenced, those who need to hear the strength in your words. Your journey holds a power beyond what you know, and in sharing it, you amplify the light for others on their path.